Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vince Lecours. I'm an assistant professor in marine remote sensing and geospatial analysis here at UF. I'm actually joined between our geomatics program and our fisheries and aquatic sciences program. And in fact, I was actually trained in satellite remote sensing and terrestrial application until about 10 years ago, where I took a wide turn towards the ocean. So most of my work focuses on better integrating different spatial concepts into marine habitat mapping and digital terrain analysis. One of those spatial concepts being scale. In the marine environment, the main way that we can actually map habitat is using acoustic remote sensing. The issue here is that what we capture is actually dependent on the sensor to seafloor distance. So in the deep sea, we can't get anything that is kind of relevant to actually capture the ecological processes happening or something useful in terms of conservation and management. So because that technology evolved so quickly, there was a lot of misuses at first. There was a lot of studies that were comparing data sets that were at totally different scales, which was causing issues with modifiable aerial unit problems and so on. So when I came into that field, I started trying to highlight those issues and try to improve practices. And so most of my work looks at basically trying to improve the methods to capture that ecological scale. So I look a lot at the data and how we actually analyze that data. Going through some of the work that I'm currently working on, we're looking at developing new multi-scale approaches to habitat mapping and also terrain attribute derivation. So I said I do a little bit of digital terrain analysis. So we have a few projects going on looking at that. I'm also looking, as I mentioned, at different spatial concepts. So I realized that especially in the marine environment, scale is often highly related with uncertainty, spatial data quality, and so on. So I do some research at that interface. And more we're moving towards, not only trying to match the ecological, observational, and analytical scale, but we got to start looking at conservation or management scale, especially in the marine environment, and also socioeconomic scale, so the scale at which people use the resources. And of course, I've been focusing a lot on spatial scale, but it's much more complex. We got to start thinking into temporal scale, thematic scale, biological scales, and so on. So a lot of my work is trying to kind of untangle all of that and make recommendations to the habitat mapping community. Thank you.